Hello, hello, hello. It is Friday, and I'm here with my friends, and we're getting ready to play my favorite game, PoliTarology. So, thank you for joining us. So, we got quite a few people already in the chat. Thank you to all of you diehards that are coming in here early. I just love that. That's fantastic. Nothing more depressing than coming onto a live stream and seeing nobody in the chat.
Nobody there.
So, I've got Sherry and Cleo with me today. Hi, Sherry. How are you?
Hi, Colleen. I'm exhausted. I've been running all day, but other than that, I'm good. Yes.
Oh, good. I'm glad I could wear on you even more.
Yeah, there you go. No, this is relaxing. This
Okay, good,
isn't this
good.
isn't stressful. I had to deal with traffic in grocery stores all morning
Ugh,
to
yeah,
get stuff ready to go back to work next week, like lunch stuff and everything, because I
yep,
brown bag it every day. So
yep, that was me
um
yesterday. Yep, same. Yeah. Well, good. Well, I want to let everybody know that Sherry is benevolently helping us and also reading for us. So thank you very much for doing double duty,
You're
Sherry.
welcome.
Very, very grateful for that. And
I
Cleo,
love it.
my sister Cleo, how are you? Nice to
I'm
see
doing
you.
good. I just did
Good.
yesterday I did a great show with Sherry with the Golden Girls, and just looking
That was
forward
fun
to.
last night.
Yeah, it was. And somebody wrote on here, where is it? For a moment, Colleen, I thought you had a veil on, and that is what it looks like because you've got.
Mother Mary has joined us.
Well,
It's
I used to have.
very holy today.
Yeah, right. Well, I used to have my gray furry blanket across the back of my chair, and I just had this is my office too, and so I just had that there because it gets cold up here. And someone said, it blends in with your hair and it makes it look weird. And I was like, oh, oh, that you're right. And when I started doing this, it didn't blend in with my hair. My hair was slightly different color, so I swapped it out for a white one, and then I have one of those sciatica pillows and I decided to take it out. And so now my head is like right in the middle of where the chair thing is.
Yeah, it
So,
does look like a veil.
okay, well, I'll take it, I'll
Yeah,
just,
really.
I'm taking it. It's fine.
It's close to a halo.
Should I go get my saints tarot cards? My
Sure, Sherry, if you need to go get your Saints Tarot cards, you
mystical
just
tarot?
go right ahead,
Uh,
girl. You go right ahead.
no, I don't use those on political questions.
Okay.
It's
All
like
right.
I don't want to get those germs on those.
Yeah. So, Sherry, if you would be good enough to just check for political questions in the chat and
I'm
give them a
looking.
star. And in the meantime, I'm just going to let people know that we are going to take a moment of silence for Moses Mike getting the speakership. Here we go. Moment of silence. Okay. So we didn't want that. And that's probably why I decided in my reading that he wasn't going to get it, is probably my ego. But he's, I don't think he's going to be there very long, but that's okay. Um,
Uh-uh.
So I think that's probably the first thing we're going to read on because that's the top of mind, I think. And then we have a few other questions that I have lined up here so we can take a look at those. And anything that you guys want to put in the chat, we will do our darndest to get those read.
And
So,
right off the bat, somebody says, so can we assume Trump will be inaugurated? No, that's not what this is about. This is about being, certified or something?
certified on January 6th, yes.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that'll probably happen.
And that has to do with the Electoral College. Yeah. So we'll see. All right. So do we want to read about Moses Mikey? You want to
Oh,
see what's going on with
let's.
him? Yeah.
He's from my neck of the woods. Well, he's from North Louisiana. I'm in South Louisiana.
I'm so sorry, Sherry. I'm so sorry for you. What is going to go on with him?
All right, let's see. What are we asking about Moses Mike?
Will he get kicked out right after January 6th certification or whenever the certification takes place? Will he get kicked out? God, not only the psychics, but all the pundits didn't thought that he would get kicked out too. So Trump and Elonia did some MAGA magic.
Yes, opening the purse strings.
That's what I'm wondering. Maybe that's what we should have read on is how the hell did he get it? That's okay. Let's switch it. How the hell did he actually get elected? What did they do to help him get elected? Is it wasn't them just putting out a tweet?
No. And what did he
Promising
maybe we could
retirement.
make the follow-up question is what did he decide he could give up for that vote?
Yeah.
Well, I said he would get it because Trump is adamant. I mean, he just does not, he just is so, he's getting the vibes that there could be something coming down the pike. And so he wants to make sure, he wants to get in there so bad. He wants to get inaugurated instantly. And, you know, the certification is just that minor step to where he wants to go. So I did see him put Mike in there because it wouldn't serve anybody's purpose, especially for Trump. And so I think that he was pretty adamant with all of them, you know, like this is what you better do. I think the one holdout for the Republicans still was a holdout.
Say
My
again.
guess,
I didn't.
we don't know yet, but
What'd you say, Cleo? Say that again.
well, that there was one holdout that was a Republican that he has said adamantly throughout the whole thing, no, I'm not voting for Mike Johnson.
Only one?
Only one. Then there was like 17 others that were like on the fence. So obviously, you know, they use that they're trying to get deals for whatever state they're working for. You know, if I give you this, then you've got to do so and so for me or my state. So, you know, that's just normal everyday stuff in the House. So, you know, and as far as him, even if he didn't get it, it would still, you know, it'd just be going on and on. They might as well just give it to him. But what I think is what you guys had brought up, that he will just be there for, they will use him for what they need him for, and then they'll move on to somebody else. However, I think Trump is really concerned that Hakeem Jeffries could sneak in there, and he doesn't want that either. So, you know, it just depends. Right now, Trump's motivation is, I don't give a shit. Keep him in there. I got to make sure I get certified, and I got to make sure that I get inaugurated.
Yeah, and the guy that did the nomination speech for Hakeem Jeffries today, he had a lot of support. He had a lot of support. And Hakeem Jeffries had a lot of support. So I want to know, what in the hell did Trump and Elonia do to get Mikey in there? So what I got is that they just scared the bejesus out of everybody. They pulled something with them. They did do some money exchanges, but they did some high-handed blackmail.
Oh yeah.
Honestly, just some really heavy-handed blackmail to get everybody to fall in line, because Trump, I don't think, has that much power anymore. But Elonia has a lot of money, and he is being shown to have power. So I think that's what that is. But I get on the top, I get the Queen of Swords. And I don't know how the Queen of Swords figures into this at all, because I just don't get it. I don't get how any of that is happening. But they are very happy with the choice. Not all of MAGA, but, you know, Mikey is happy for the moment. And, you know, Trump and Elonia are happy for the moment. But it was a lot of bullying and a lot of blackmail. So, you know, how they're going to follow this up. So let's ask this. So, oh, Sherry, you didn't say what your cards were.
No, I started out with the world because the whole world is watching right now.
Yeah.
And so this is just a little reminder. And yeah, there was some payoffs going on because we got lots of money flowing right here.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got the 7 of Cups. So he's thinking, oh boy, I got in again and my boats come in, my ships come in. Everything's going to be okay. I just don't, I think they're going to be celebrating just a little too early. I got the Four of Wands. And then the last card I got, which is the outcome, is the Eight of Swords reversed, which is self-limiting beliefs. What else does it say? Inner critic, refusing negative thoughts, but he's getting hit with all of that stuff. So, and that can go to Mikey and both, if you know.
Yeah.
But it's the whole world's watching. There's some payoffs that went on, so they're all celebrating, thinking, "Yeah, hot diggity dog, we got it." But they're all bound up, so it's not
So
going to end pretty.
as our follow-up question, what's going to happen next with the Speaker and the House? I mean, they have the vote on Monday, the certification on Monday. What about after that for the fate of Moses Mikey? What will his fate be? You, I think, already said, Cleo, what you think his fate will be.
Well, and also I'm thinking, of course he'll be certified, but what is that a vote within the House? Everybody says
No,
yes, we agree.
No. The people who are the voted to the Electoral College
Okay.
have pledged their votes to certain candidates, and that's when the candidate has to have, what's the number, 230 something or more
I
for the
forget.
yeah.
218 or 2.
No, that's the vote in the House.
Oh.
This is a whole different configuration.
270, I think it is for the
270.
something.
That has to do with the votes that come from each state, right? So each state,
electoral votes.
Electoral votes. So some states just all the electoral votes go to one candidate, and in some states they're allowed to split them, and it's a whole weird mathematical Rubik's cube, right?
Yeah, it depends on what each one won or lost percentage wise to the other, and that's how they divvy up the votes.
So we already know that he won the electoral votes of 317 or something. I mean, it was really a huge amount. So wouldn't that just go through? Would that be,
No. So what they have to have a ceremony, right? To certify it, to say, yes, legally, officially, he got all the votes. So they count up all the electoral votes. They carry them in a special stupid box from one house of Congress to the other, to the Senate, I guess, or the Senate to the Congress. I don't know. No. And then they open it up and they read it, and the vice president, which is the president of the Congress or Senate or whatever. Yeah, it's the Senate. The president of the Senate reads it out and says, I certify that this election went to blah, 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 DJT or whoever the fuck it goes.
Right.
And that's what they have to have the Congress seated for.
So there's nothing about this ceremony that would bring up anything about election interference or foreign interference or anything like that. This is just, we got to go.
Yeah, this is just going through the motions. And that's what they tried to do when they attacked the Capitol, was to stop that procedure from going through and certifying the Electoral College votes. Because they thought if we can stop them from certifying it, then we're in and Biden is out. Because they're stupid. They don't understand how it works. It just puts a delay on things. Nancy, you got to give Nancy Pelosi credit, because when this happened, as they were all being rushed out of the rooms for safety, there were 4 or 5 of the clerks that work for Congress people who went back and got the things full, the boxes full of the votes. So they weren't there when they broke into the House. The votes were gone, the ballots were gone, because they went back and got them and managed to get back out again before they broke in. And when everybody got hidden wherever they got hidden at, Nancy was the one that came down and said, once they got whoever it was that showed up finally to get these people out of there, she was like, no, we're going back and it's getting done now. That's why they were there that late. That's why Mike Pence refused to get in the car and leave, because he knew if he got in the car to be taken away for safety, that he would never be brought back and he may never be seen again. That was his second fear.
And yeah, and also that without him there, they couldn't do the certification.
Well, Rose
Right.
Blue says senators can object to the votes.
Oh, okay, good.
Oh yeah,
didn't
they
know
can object, and then they have to do this long drawn out bullshit over why and this and that and the other, and because they did that last time on when they certified it last time, Republicans were like challenging every one that had Democratic wins to it, trying to stop them. I don't understand how it all works,
do that just to cause a little excitement and irritate people and stuff. I hope they do that. But the and somebody else. Wait a minute. Where was this? I'm looking for something. Hold on. Basically, it was something about.
Maybe
Is Biden going to save the day, or is it just the end of it? Is what they were basically asking.
it is not the end of it. Even if they go through with the certification, it is not the end of it. Yeah, here it is. Oh wait, no, that's the wrong thing. Sorry. I thought it was starred.
I thought I had started too, because Rosa's put it in there a dozen times.
Well, I didn't unstar anything, so don't blame me.
Yeah.
Well, actually, this was somebody else. It wasn't Rose that I was trying to find with the comment that they'd made, but I can't find it now. But it was basically something like, is Biden going to do something, or are we just stuck, or are we sunk?
Was it this one?
I don't know, but I can tell you no.
That's a done deal.
Yeah, the answer to that is no. It's too late. But wait, but one of the things that is not changed, that rule still stands. That in the course of Johnson's work as Speaker, it only takes one member of Congress to pull him down.
They tried to change that rule yesterday and say that it had to be X amount of people from the person's party to do it. And the Dems and half of the Republicans and the Dems were like, no.
Nope.
This is Rose, and she says, is Biden really going to save us and our democracy, or is it just wishful thinking?
What's the time? What's the timestamp on it?
4:16.
So that would be 7:16, Sherry. So
6:16 for me.
Oh, 6:16. I'm sorry.
There you go.
That's cool. I can convert the times. My sinuses decided to just like go crazy and.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's because I lit the incense, Sherry. My fault. I'm sorry.
Magically comes through the screen and it affects me.
It does. It does. Well, I wanted to know what the fate of Moses Mikey was going to be, and I got some very interesting cards.
Okay.
I got
and we'll answer Mimi's question afterwards.
Okay. So I got the Ace of Wands first, meaning he's going to get a big womp on his head because somebody's going to take some action. So it could be that somebody on Tuesday, the day after the certification, says, I vote to take out Speaker Johnson. I don't like how he's doing his job or something. And what crosses that is the Death card. So he is not going to last long. I don't know if it's going to be a day, but it's going to be very quick. And at the bottom of it is, contention and conflict and fighting. Five of Wands. So, the Republicans and the MAGAs are very divided. The Democrats are seemingly together. They're a little divided as well. And in the past is the Moon, because they've all had so much division. But what crowns all of this is the High Priestess. So there is stuff that's going to come out. And remember, we've been hearing stories about Moses Mikey, and he's got this tagline. I think a lot of the people on MSNBC always say this, he was one of the architects of January 6th.
Yeah.
And things like that, stories like that are coming out in my famous breadcrumbs. All these breadcrumbs are coming out at this time, because it is like when they lay the trap in the jungle, they lay the net out in a big circle, and then they tie up the little ends to the branches in the trees, so that
Yeah.
when somebody comes by, they can just cut the rope and all the things slip up and they all get caught up in the big old net. That's what I think is being laid for these people who
Now,
are.
I have seen that a lot in past readings, traps being set everywhere. And
Yes,
I've heard some people who would be in a position to know that have visited some of our popular pundits who are saying Biden is setting traps all over the damn place.
all over the
Yes.
place.
Yeah.
All over the place.
Yeah.
So,
I love that.
well, I drew the Queen of Cups to start out with.
Mhm.
And I think
She's got secrets.
Mikey, yeah. It's he thinks that everything is going to be good to go now because he got in. And then I drew the Knight of Swords.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's not going to take long at all for them to say, I have a problem with him.
Swift action.
And then the two
poor
next
thing.
ones were 2 pages, the swords and the wands. So they're bringing all the information in for it.
Yep.
And then the last thing I got was the 4 of Swords reversed. So that's not a real happy time for him.
No.
And then the bottom of the deck, I just flipped it over to see what was coming up, and I got Judgment.
Yeah, it's a done deal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I got the 3 of Pentacles in the future for him. So
I got to blow again.
even if he is there and thinks that he's making some sort of a plan, I got news for him. People on the other side are making a plan too. And he's facing the Tower and 2 of Wands and the Strength. So he's facing a new plan, people acting in unusual ways, people, wielding their power in unusual and new and innovative ways. So they're going to find a way to make this, to take him out, because they don't want him there. And I think it is going to come back to these charges about January 6th, because he's never been charged. But
Yeah.
I think all of a sudden he's going to be. I really do. All right. So what was the question? The other question from the viewer that you wanted us to look at?
I think the name is Mimi Rose at 416 or 4. There we go.
Okay, thank you. Will Biden save America?
That, yeah, that, and I've got another one that I want you guys. You should. Sherry, could you star this one? It's from 424. About the announcement comes from Root, which I'm thinking is Reuters. NATO election interference nullifies the inauguration. So we can talk about that after we get through with this other one.
Gotcha.
Okay. So, Mimi wanted to know if all we're hearing is just a lot to do about nothing, and that in the end, nothing happens. Surprise! Something's going to happen.
It's happening.
And it is happening right now. And this is something we talked about yesterday on the Golden Girls. And it's something I talked to Colleen about, which is the, hold on here a minute. Where did I put that? The U.S. Treasury Department is preparing to look into sanctions against Iran and Russia for election interference. So this is exactly this, and I want to tell you that this announcement was pretty low key. It wasn't one of the major headlines, and when I first saw it, I saw it from David Tarot by the Bay. But you know, this one little article, I thought this changes everything for me in my thinking about how I thought things were going to go, because this is just one, like Colleen's talking about breadcrumbs. This is about a half slice of bread on on this one, and it's a really big deal. So I'm saying that this one thing about looking into Iran and Russia and talking about election interference, to me, gives me hope. And it really, you know, because I didn't have anything tangible. It was always speculation of what we're hearing and what the guides are telling us and stuff. This makes it more tangible, that something is really going on that we can see in writing, that the United States is looking into it says well, it's just the influence that these countries have made on our country and probably the others as well. And they're also, this was the key thing to it, that they indicated that Russia did the same thing in 2016, which again is exactly what I've said, that this election interference occurred in 2016, and that is why Trump got that election, was from that interference. And now that's coming up again. You know, I don't know if they're going to go back in time. I don't really care. All I care about is that they actually have come out and said, yes, we're going to do something. Now, other psychics have talked about not, you know, doing too little, too late. No, actually, I think that a little article about what they're actually just talking about, we're just investigating this now.
Oh, no. They're beefing up the sanctions against these countries. And the reason this is important is this blocks them from financial connection of any kind in our country. So business, they can't do business. So this says the governments of Iran and Russia this is what they're saying. This is their statement. The governments of Iran and Russia have targeted our election processes, our election processes and institutions, and sought to divide the American people through targeted disinformation campaigns, said acting Undersecretary for the Treasury for, get the name of this organization, the acting Undersecretary for the Treasury for Terrorism and Financial Intelligence. I didn't even know there was an organization like that.
Wow.
When the headline said
either.
the Department of the Treasury's Office of Foreign Asset Controls, that sounds like, yeah, they're looking at taxes from foreign companies, right? No. The Treasury, the Treasury for Terrorism and Financial Intelligence, that's a big stick. That's the Ace of Wands. That is a big stick. And it says the United States will remain vigilant against adversaries who would undermine our democracy. And they've had sanctions against both of these countries for years, probably since 2016 or 2017. So this is no small thing.
No small thing. And just keep an eye on certain little articles that come out like this, because they tried to dismiss it. They're trying not to focus on it. But these are the breadcrumbs that Colleen's been talking about. And this one is, it changed my whole attitude about things when I came across this thing. And I'm like, okay, they are doing something. So when you talk about, is Biden just going to let it go? No, he's not going to let it go. And neither is Kamala. I mean, this is.
And a couple of people have mentioned in chat, I even starred one of them, and I saw a couple of her videos, Libby from Maestros Tarot.
Yeah, I watch all her videos.
She's been getting cards saying the Hague is getting ready to get involved.
Yes.
It's just what happened here, what happened to all these other countries across Europe.
Yes.
Shall we name a few of those other countries? Because this is so big. This is, let me see, where's my little countries. Come on now. Okay. Countries where election interference most likely took place. Drum roll, please. Germany, and the government is now collapsed. South Korea, where the stupid president imposed martial law, which led to his impeachment. France, and the government there is now collapsed. Romania, their courts annulled the results of their recent presidential election. Georgia, they're protesting and demanding an overthrow of their government because of the election. Syria, that supposed leader of Syria, who's been there with his family for like the last 50 years, is now hiding in Russia. And, drumroll please, the United States. I mean, and also Spain and the UK, but I don't know exactly what happened with Spain and the UK. But all of them have been victims of this election interference. So let's draw these breadcrumbs together. So in this article about the Treasury, let me go back to that. They said that in the summer of 2024, a joint U.S. government statement announced that the government of Iran, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so since the summer of 2024, they've been looking at this. So is Biden going to save America? Well, maybe this U.S. Treasury for Terrorism and Financial Intelligence Agency, maybe they're going to save America because they've been working on this all along. And there was something.
And possibly a few other countries along with it. I mean,
yes. And that's why The Hague is probably going to be involved. But I didn't get that in my cards. I definitely just got that from Libby. But in most of my readings, I've been saying, Interpol, NATO, some other international agencies. And I was thinking The Hague, but I thought that because the United States doesn't pay the dues to be a part of the World Court, that The Hague probably wouldn't help us. But that's not. Someone informed me that that's not the way it works. If there is a credible claim, The Hague will go ahead and point the finger and jump in. And they obviously have to ask the country's assistance in order to pull people out of the country and bring them to The Hague for prosecution. But it doesn't matter that we're not paid up members. It's not like NATO. It's not the same thing.
Cicero just put in that Cicero's guides told him the FBI, the NSA, and the CIA, and then they won't give any other info after that. Well, that's just part of the Five Eyes. I mean,
yeah. Well,
when we're talking the whole world, this is not just the United States. So when we're not hearing stuff that we want, that we think is going on, and we're thinking, why aren't we hearing anything? We cannot. This is so secret. This is such a big deal. This covers the world. It's not just the United States.
And there are fingers going out to all these different countries that are affected by this. Mm-hmm. And so it's reeling all of those in.
Yeah, if you look at the map of the world for where authoritarianism has taken over, at least in 2024, if not for the last 15 years, it's most of Africa is now authoritarian. Most of the Middle East is authoritarian. Russia is authoritarian. There is a lot, and now it's finding its way into Europe. So it's no bueno. It's not good. It's really not good. But I wanted to also say that on Rosie's channel and on Meister Tarot, they are both starting to say the things that Cleo, you and I had been talking about since November 6th or the 5th, the night of the election. These things that are happening, we are not going to know the ins and outs. So I appreciate that everybody wants the 411 of exactly how this is going to play out. This isn't that kind of thing. We're not going to be able to know. For one thing, it's too large. For another thing, I just found out today on Meister Tarot that maybe The Hague is involved. I was thinking Interpol and NATO. Definitely NATO's involved. Look, our Treasury Department and Terrorism and Financial Intelligence Agency of that department is involved. I mean, involved by way of saying, they're catching on. They're documenting it. They're prosecuting it already. But the big prosecution, I think, is going to come through more international arms like The Hague and NATO. And I don't think NATO has its own court. The courts for NATO would go through The Hague, I believe. Yeah. I remember reading that a few weeks ago. So, no, we're not going to have all the deets. We're just not going to have it. We don't know. Yeah. And it hasn't been written yet. Look at how things are changing day to day to day to day. Look at all the pundits.
We're in uncharted territory around the world.
Yeah, and the timelines are kind of going all over the place. I mean, as of this morning, people were putting out videos on YouTube, pundits and psychics, saying Mike Johnson never getting in. no, he's screwed. He's never getting anything. We know Trump's now supporting him all of a sudden, but that's not going to be enough. They all said that.
Yeah.
Nobody predicted that he was going to get this. So now that's that. I'm not saying that completely changed the timeline, but
No, but it's the same thing that happened with the election.
Exactly. That's my point. So we don't really know. I do know that there is going to be a series of news announcements that come out, like this one about the treasury that's kind of low key. And there will be other ones like that, but there will at some point be an announcement where it's either Biden or Mark Rutte or maybe a guy from The Hague. I don't know, but somebody will be standing on the steps of probably Congress or the White House.
We
with
just said is
all the
answering
people behind
Natasha's
them
question.
with all the people behind them, like from NATO and Interpol and The Hague and the Federal Reserve and the Treasury and all these countries, probably representatives from all those countries, all standing behind them, and they will make some announcement like that. But that isn't going to be what stops this process of, DJT getting into the White House. DJT may do a whole bunch of stuff, but
What do you think he's
just
going to
what
be
we were talking about
inaugurated?
also answered what Natasha was asking here. Is why are even on the left side, why are the channels not really talking about it?
oh well, let's talk about that.
Because they either haven't gotten the information yet, or they've been told you have to keep this quiet.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. There's that.
Because the first 2 days after the election, Midas Touch was nothing but about this was stolen, this was this. They were 24/7 screaming at the top of their lungs. And then on like day 3, complete flip.
And
no one was saying it.
When did they go to the White House and do that interview with President Biden? I'm Googling.
Couple of back, I think.
Yeah, and when it comes to the inauguration, I've said that, my fear was that Trump would be inaugurated and then you'd never get him out because he's got this ultimate immunity to everything. I'm still thinking that it's going to be postponed.
Yeah, I do too. So I just Googled it. So Ben Meiselas did his interview with President Biden on December 18th. And I proposed that shortly after the election, there was a meeting with them saying, oh, you want this interview? Well, this is what we need you to do. We want you to do the interview, but we also want you to shut up about this.
Wait a minute. Who's telling who what?
Ben Meiselas is the head of Midas Touch Network.
Okay.
He was allowed to come into the White House and interview Biden on, I think.
Yeah, I remember him talking about that.
Right, but that was after the election. That was December 17th or 18th or not, or yeah,
Right,
17th or 18th, right? And he had said, yeah, we were asked to come to the White House along with some other independent journalists to talk to Biden, to see Biden and everything. But Ben got the interview, right? And I think in exchange for the interview, they said, okay, before you sit down with the president, we have a few conditions. And he's thinking, oh, it's a condition about what questions I can ask. No, the conditions were you stop talking about the election interference. You stop this, you stop that, you stop that. You can ask this, you can't ask that. I think that was when they said your whole network has to stop. And that's, I think, maybe Jessica Danson left before that, but that would make sense because those discussions would have happened before that. So sometime between the election and then
imposing and putting a light on something that is there, it interferes. I'm told the psychics needed to be careful. I am told that some psychics are getting information that draws them away from it because the psychics are so good. They see what's happening, but do not expose it. Do not tell us what you're getting because it could possibly interfere with what they're trying to do. This is a very top secret thing. So for them to tell the guy from Midas Touch to chill out, get away from that makes perfect sense to me. That yes, don't be exposing don't let the cat out of the bag. Don't
Right.
you know?
And both Libby and Rosie Insights today, their videos today, their messages were very, very similar. That you're not going to know the details of this.
Exactly.
You can have the broad strokes. And what I had said last week, you can nibble around the edges. You can nibble around the edges with a few things, but you're not going to get all the details, because if you do, it'll screw things up. And we don't want that. That's why I put that post out today about, Donald must be watching my channel because he knew he had to have a speaker in order to get certified.
Well, I've always thought that they would keep him in there, because it just, at this point in time, Trump would have just blown his stack, and they're so scared of him.
I don't think they are anymore. I don't think they're that scared of him anymore.
I think
I think it was Alonia. No,
money makes the world go round.
Well, and they don't want to lose their career, and that's what Trump is threatening. If they don't do what
threatening, but I don't think he has that power. But I guess
they
seeing,
do. They see what he's done. I mean, they see it's how somehow. Plus, I think a lot of those guys are in on it. That's the other problem. You do this and that, otherwise you're going to be exposed.
See, I don't think it's Donnie. I think it's Vlad.
Who?
I think Vladimir Putin.
Oh, Vladimir.
Yeah, and I think that's
Donnie
what I
just dances to his tune.
Right, and so Vladimir was, inferring very publicly that, Donnie, we have these papers that you signed. Donnie, we have these videos that we took of you. Donnie, we have recordings of phone calls from you. Donnie, we have pictures of your wife that we're going to release, and that's going to be very embarrassing. Now, if Putin was bold enough to say all of that out loud, imagine what he has about all of these other people who are even stupider than him, than Donnie. Because a lot of them are so stupid. I mean, what was it, like 9 senators go over to Russia July 4th of 2017. Why? Because they all want to get in on the gravy train that Donnie's in, going to Russia. That's what they want. And so they just, shot
and
themselves.
Damn well every single one of them got majorly compromised while they were there.
That's right. I mean, Trump was
They've
compromised
been dancing to that tune ever since they came back.
That's right. Like Rand Paul. I mean, that guy, his hair even got
Ted Cruz.
Ted Cruz. Yep. Lindsey Graham. I mean, they're all so compromised they can't even see straight. So I think that's what pulled the string.
I think one of my senators was there, Kennedy. I think it was Kennedy.
Oh yeah, he was there.
Foghorn Leghorn, the idiot.
Yep.
I love what Linda Bishop said. This is just funny, and I just thought it was hilarious. She just says, I see Big Popeye eating his spinach and shouting, that's all I can stand, and I can't stand no more. Then the world powers and the USA Alphabet Agency snap the trap.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pretty much. I think that's how it's going to go. I think there's going to be, because every day they get more and more bold, and they do more and more things just out in the open. They say it just out in the open. Like there's no repercussions for what's going to happen because they've gotten bold. And I think they don't realize that the wagons are circling, the traps are being set. And the minute whoever it is that gives the go sign and says, do it, it's going to be a snap of a finger and it's all going to converge at once around the globe.
So what do we think is going to happen on, is it Monday the 6th? Monday's the 6th, right?
Yeah.
So what do we think's going to happen? Is, the Hague going to pull it and say you can't have your little electoral ceremony? I mean,
part of me says yes, and another part of me is like, they're just going to go through the motions.
Yeah,
make everybody think that everything's okay and fine, and yeah, we're taking it. He won. Okay, we understand. And they're just going to play along because they're filling in the traps as they circle the wagons.
Then how do they stop him from going into the White House?
Well, that happens by January 20th. what
That's
happens
not that
on
long. That's 2 weeks. They
yeah,
got
right,
2
but,
weeks.
what happens on Monday the 6th and what happens on January 20th, two entirely different things. I agree with Sherry that they will don't go through the motions. They'll do their ceremony, they'll do their thing. Trump will walk away smiling and
I,
waving.
I started getting that when Kamala gave her concession speech, which technically wasn't really a concession speech, but it was not. There was so many things not said but implied. I mean, I had to go back and rewatch it several times, and I kept getting out of it. Okay, she's like trying to tell us something without telling us something,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
know. And every time I've drawn on it since, that's what I get. They're gonna just all march along like nice little puppies, and they're gonna do what everybody expects them to do because they're not the stupid crazy ones that's gonna attack our own capital, right? But I'm telling you, and even if it's 6 months from now, it's going to get to the point where they're going to have everything in place, all the T's crossed, all the I's dotted, all the traps set, and it's going to be one massive go time around the planet. And everybody, it's not going to be 5 people get taken in Germany, so that gives the ones over here in the US time to go hide. No, they're going to have agents in Germany connecting those people and picking them up at the same instant that they're here, and that they're in Syria, and that they're in China, and that they're in Russia. I mean, it's going to be around the world. That's what I keep seeing.
So
One
you
snap
guys think that
with
on the
everybody.
6th they're going to let everything go. They're going to let it go forward. And then sometime between the 6th and the 20th, this is going to happen? Is that what
I
you're
don't
thinking?
know if it'll be that quickly. I mean, I've gotten cards where it was like way off, like think 6 months to a year from now. And I'm like, we got to put up with this jackass for that long. But at the same time, I keep, the messages I keep getting is we can't, we can't step too soon in one country because it'll blow it on all the others.
Yeah, I get
We
that.
have to wait until everybody's in place to go and they all go at once.
I keep feeling though that the United States is the last girl to arrive at the dance. Like everybody else was pretty much on the precipice of doing this except for us. And
Yeah,
so now that we're at the dance, it's like, what are y'all waiting for? Well, when the QE2 has to turn around, it can't just spin on a dime. We're a huge
that's
country,
right.
and this is a huge apparatus to turn around.
That's right. And
So
to go back to our original question, when I drew cards, the first thing I got was a Two of Cups. So we're looking at partnership deals being made here. There are deals being made from country to country to country as this stuff is getting investigated and the information's coming out and it's getting to the right people. Well, then they got to make deals with the other right people. And they got to be careful because if the wrong thing is said to the wrong person, it's going to come out. And I think that's why so many people feel so bewildered and betrayed, is because nothing has leaked on this. Could
right.
you imagine MAGA and Trump running something like this and
No.
it not getting out?
No.
Please, he would be out telling everybody. Then I got the world reversed. So this is telling me everything's topsy turvy
But
and
it's
it's
not
going to
over.
take, but it's not over because then I got the chariot. And that's telling me once they move, it's going to
Yeah,
be
quick.
wham, they move. And the last card I got was strength reversed. So while these numbnuts are running around thinking that, they've gotten money in the bag and it's a done deal, I'm afraid to tell them, I think it's going to be a shock. And I think
Yeah,
they're going to be caught up in this that's going to shock everybody, even us, even on the left, because there's going to be people of all sides that are going to be
Oh yeah.
involved in this.
Oh yeah.
You
I
know?
I think though with the Two of Cups, I think that's going to be more the coordination of all of the
Yeah,
agencies. I don't think that they're having to say for the countries. I don't think they have to convince them to cooperate. I don't think that's what's going on. I think it's we need your forces here to do this. You need to watch the border of this country because this group is going to do this. And, so I think multiple armed forces, multiple Secret Service, Interpol, FBI, CIA, I think they're all going to be involved with that as far as, and NATO. And then I don't know what kind of military or armed forces the Hague has, so they probably employ somebody to do that for them because that's not their purpose. But I think it's all that's why I think I keep getting the Three of Pentacles, because I think there's a lot of organizations trying to work together who never did before. And who would be really good to help them with this is Robert Mueller, because after 9/11 he
yeah,
put together the whole thing to make all of our agencies work together to prevent another 9/11, and not to prevent necessarily the terrorist attack, but to prevent the agencies stepping on each other and not being able to work with one another. 888, magical number in the room. Thank you, everybody. Oh, that's so great. Thank
all
you. But I think that's really important for all of these countries to know that like some of these countries are little countries and they don't have the armed forces that can be secretive and still apprehend
move.
people or
Yeah,
not so much apprehend, confine them so they don't run off blabbing their mouths and ruin it what everybody else is trying to do,
right.
you know
That's
like
why I said this is so under the covers that this is, for your eyes only type,
yeah,
it's this is so above anything classified that it would blow our minds.
yeah.
And may I address everybody in chat? Yes, I'm fine. I'm having an allergy reaction because I ran the roads all day, so dust and all that crap,
No, you're out.
pollen and everything.
Oh god.
And that's why I keep coughing and having to blow my nose. And I
Oh,
take prescription nose spray, which is why a couple of times I had to block the video because y'all don't want to see me squirting this up my nose or blowing my nose to that degree. So, but thank you for your concern. I'm
right.
okay. It's
Right. So do we have time for some more questions? We've been almost an hour,
I
but
do.
Well, what were you going to say about? I thought you mentioned something about the big party, the big rally, the thing that Trump
yeah,
is doing on the
yeah,
9th,
that's what I was going to go to.
on the 19th. Yeah, and
You must be
how
psychic.
does
I
that
love this.
affect anything?
All right. So Trump is planning a big rally in Washington, D.C. on January 19th ahead of his supposed inauguration. But my question is, first, will it actually take place? And is it actually a smokescreen or a fake inauguration scheme or something else? And I don't want to say what I think the something else might be. Let's see if that comes out in the cards. So that's what I want to know. That's what I want to know.
Let's see what
Well,
they're
I
gonna
think that
do.
everything Trump has been doing ever since the election is to just act like I am in, this is going to happen. I think there is a fear with him personally that they're going to try to toss him out because of the insurrection, because of the voting, or maybe he realizes he's been found out. So the more he keeps having little rallies and ceremonies and little parties down at Mar-a-Lago for New Year's, for Christmas, for anything, it just, and all the cabinet members he's come up with and all these people that he's putting into his administration, he makes it look like it's just so well put together that we don't dare stop this from happening. I still think it's going to be because of that recent thing about looking into Russia and Iran. And now you're talking about all these other countries that there's just going to be too big of a question mark about wait a minute, can we really do this knowing that we have all this other information that says we better keep looking into it? That's why I think it'll be post.
Why are the ETs now all of a sudden so prevalent? I
Oh,
think they're here to help us keep everybody from going too far.
well, the ETs are mainly concerned about nuclear activity.
Nuclear activity.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm talking about. Yeah.
And
Oh, well, interesting. Well, I think that
That's just my paranoid mind.
I think it's highly doubtful that his little event on the 19th is actually going to be able to take place. And if it does take place, I think he's going to wish he hadn't had it take place, because I got not a lot, but I got quite a few major arcana here. So he starts out with the Judgment card crossed by the Magician. So I think that if he seriously gets the permit and sets it all up, this guy is such a numbnuts. I doubt he even has a permit yet for it. He's just talking. He just got this idea in his head and started blabbing about it. But with the Judgment and the Magician there, what I'm thinking is that if he actually gets people there, that I think the powers that be may use that as an opportunity to confine them in some way,
That's very possible.
to trap them.
That's very possible.
And we got the moon right underneath it too. So there's a plans on plans on plans. So do you remember Mad Magazine?
Mm-hmm.
I used to love that. And
Me too. It was one of the few comics I would buy. Yeah.
Right. My favorite part of it was Spy versus Spy. Those stupid little stick figure drawings that told so much about what they were doing. And I think that's what's going to be going on. I think they're going to be looking at what he's doing and just saying, yeah, we sure have your little rally on the 19th. That'd be quite nice, Donald. You go right ahead. So I think they might be planning something. He's got the Three of Swords, betrayal, heartbreak, loss, right crowning him. And right in front of him, just like Moses Mike, he gets the Ace of Wands. So he gets a big fat thwump on his head right after the rally. I mean, he's not going to be happy about this. He's not going to like what he sees. He's not going to be appreciative of the show of force that comes out to so-called help his rally and do crowd control. I think he's going to be kind of taken aback by how strong those forces are that they bring in. And then it ends with the World card. So I think if he has that thing on the 19th, I think that closes his shop.
Well, is that the fake inauguration day as well?
I'm sorry, Cleo, what'd you say?
Is the 19th the fake inauguration day?
Well, is it? I would think that he'd do the inauguration down in Mar-a-Lago, but who knows? I mean, he may think that he has, balls the size of Texas. So maybe he thinks he's going to do his own little inauguration the day before and take the wind out of their sails. But I think the joke will be on him, because I think that they will trap him in that. Because remember, if he does this and it's in Washington, that's Biden's neighborhood. That's not his neighborhood anymore. No matter how many
Biden is well liked, no matter what side of the aisle they sit on. People respect him.
No matter how many Bibles Trump has that he carries upside down into that rally, he's not going to have friends and angels there. He's just not.
So just to be clear, you have to go through inauguration ceremony to be president.
Oh,
you absolutely have to have that.
I don't think so. No, but they don't let you into the White House until then. So the inauguration is the clean cutoff. By the date of the inauguration, the ex-president and his family have to be all packed up and moved out, and they get one last ride on Air Force One as they get taken to their new home, right? And then there's the inauguration, and at that point, the White House is, I think, kind of empty for a while, and the staff is cleaning it up and getting things ready and moving in the new president and family stuff. And then the guy has the inauguration, and then they have a bunch of inauguration balls that night, and they go home to the White House. I mean, they're staying somewhere else the night before.
It's truly remarkable the coordination and competence of the staff that handle this, because they get the president that's moving out, him and his family, packed up and out the door. And in the process of the day and everything that's going on, that happens. And then the new president's stuff comes in and they get it all unpacked and put it in place so that when they walk through the doors, it's their home.
Yep. Yep.
But what I'm saying is, I just want to be
Yeah.
clear.
Yeah.
Legally speaking, nobody gets to be president until they're inaugurated.
Well, let's ask the Google machine because I don't know.
In the meantime, the cards I drew from the question we had, first thing I got was the 9 of Wands. So it's like the battle is done, but the war is not over. And this guy here is like he's got protection at his back, and he's kind of waiting to see what happens next. And then I got the Ace of Cups reversed. So whatever good was going to come out of anything for DT is all getting dumped. I mean, it's being blocked, emotional creativity blocked, all that kind of stuff. That was the next one I got. And then I got the World. I have drawn the World in every spread I have done today. For this or with Linda when I was with her earlier. Mm-hmm. I have drawn the World.
Yep.
And then I got the Hierophant. So we're going through with traditions.
Government.
We're following all the little traditions, and we have to do it this way, we have to do it that way, because he's pissed off that all the flags will be half-mast.
Oh, yeah, I read that.
Because of President Carter's funeral. And he's wanting them to have him up full, and everyone's telling him, no, it's a sign of respect for a past president. Mm-hmm. You would expect the same if it was your funeral.
That's right.
But he doesn't see it that way. And then the last thing I got was the 10 of Wands. That's just a big burden. Part of him, I think, is, and this is Sherry thinking, not cards thinking, is he literally cannot see himself not being king of the hill.
Yeah.
He cannot see himself not winning. That's why he went so freakoid in 2020 when he lost, because he's never lost at anything. Or if he did lose, he had enough of the right people in place to cover it up and make him feel like, yeah, you won after all. It was just they did something wrong.
Well, no, that whole election was rigged as well. And so,
yeah, exactly.
Why he said, this can't be because I know I'm supposed to be president, and he knows because he's the one that rigged it.
Exactly.
Somebody over here says, I think the guides are blocking the readers from seeing too much before it's time. The timing has to be perfect with all the countries involved, all T's crossed and I's dotted. And absolutely, this is Kat Christoph. I totally agree with you.
I do too.
We are getting limited information. So if we say things and it ends up not happening that way, that is why. And this is so unusual too, because normally the guides would never do that. But the guides on YouTube, especially collectively, because we just get more, we feed off each other's energy, and so we're getting information that we shouldn't know, but this is just so important. We're not. That's why things get a little confused. So anyway,
that's why we were also gut punched when she lost the election, because every single person got the same message, the same vision, the same that it was a cakewalk.
And I think it's important to know too that the guides want to comfort us. They want us to not be scared out of our minds. They want us to be calm. They want us to still trust them for guidance. They want us to still just trust our own gut and our own intuition. And this is the best they can do in this situation. Hell, people, we have frickin' ETs patrolling our planet. It is an absurd time. It is a highly unusual time. I mean, that just doesn't happen every day. But I did Google whether the president absolutely has to go through an inauguration to be president. The one piece of the inauguration that they have to go through before they start executing the duties of the president is the vow, the oath.
The
And
oath
honest,
of office.
yeah, and honestly, they could do that oath standing in the lobby of the White House, and they're one of the servants
Well,
could do
there have
that
been
oath.
presidents in the past from way long time ago that didn't.
No,
It was
yeah,
just done simply with a
yeah,
handful of people because
yeah,
most people
yeah.
couldn't even get there to do an
Yeah.
inauguration.
But so they chose this day, and I do think this is a very kind of auspicious day. This is the day that the sun goes into Aquarius. That's why it's a good day to do the inauguration, because it's the dawning of um, for the people, something that's really humanitarian, forward looking, visionary, future looking. And that's the way they wanted. And I don't think that the inauguration was in January from the beginning. I know Lincoln was inaugurated in March. So it used to be in March, which would have been the beginning of Aries, probably, or maybe it was March 13th. I don't think it was the 21st. But anyway, um, and that might have been unusual because that was the beginning of the Civil War when Lincoln ended up getting inaugurated. So the oath is the one piece of that ceremony that's absolutely necessary. And like I said, they could get driving in the car to the White House. They could just have anybody sit next to him and say, "Okay, do you solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, blah, 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 blah." I mean, you don't have to have a whole ceremony to take that oath. Okay?
Yeah, thank you.
And a lot of presidents never even took the oath on a Bible. They took them on books and law books,
Law books,
stacks
their
of law
favorite
books and
book, or
stuff.
a family Bible, or, yeah.
Yeah,
And the truth is that you don't have to be sworn in by a judge. You can be sworn in by whoever you want to be sworn in by.
Well, didn't
yeah.
Trump's wife participate in that when he was from 2016? She held the
Most wives
Bible. He
do.
would, you
Oh,
know.
it's usual for the wife to hold the book that they put their
Oh, okay.
hand on. That's not unusual,
Yeah,
because they got to give her something to do. My God, she has to, sweat over her outfit and her shoes and her gloves and her hair and the color, and I mean, they got to give her something to do for all the work that she has to go through. But yeah. So I'm just curious, are they going is the Trumpster going through the whole thing of picking out the plan for his inauguration day? Is he worried about performers, and is he having like the country's poet laureates writing a poem for him? And I mean, is he having the naval band play, and is he picking out tunes for them? I bet he isn't, because I
I
don't
don't
think
think he gives a crap. Yeah,
I don't know. I don't think he believes it's going to happen, because he knows that he cheated. But that's just me.
true.
And so
That
he
too.
has his own little thing on the 19th instead.
Well, I didn't say that. You guys said that.
Okay.
I didn't say
Okay.
that. I think what he is planning on the 19th, he says, is going to be a rally. He always wants to have a rally, right? Why would he need to do a rally on the 19th? That's why it's suspicious to me. And it would make sense to me that he did do something like a fake inauguration the day before, thinking he's taken the wind out of their sails. It's his own sails. If he's getting inaugurated, why would he, step on his foot?
And do you think that the postpone? Let's say that for fact that that it will be postponed. Do you think we will know that before January 20th?
Well, somewhat before. I mean, maybe
A
24
day?
hours or 48
Okay.
hours,
All right.
maybe just a day or two. But I think, yeah, there's only 2 weeks between January 6th and January 20th. That's
Yeah, I
14
know.
days.
It's
So,
it's getting scary.
yeah. So, yeah, it's already scary. But, I don't know. Hey, maybe the ETs could just pick up Trump from the 19th and just carry him away. Maybe they could just come down.
Maybe they could take the guilty list around the world of all these people that are involved, and just all these people get zapped. Then we could convince the evangelicals that the rapture happened and they got left behind.
Kind of like a reverse Santa Claus. He picks them up
Yeah.
instead of leaves gifts.
I'm sorry, America. Your next president has been abducted by aliens. And we're unable
I love it.
to have the inauguration because he's on their spaceship right now.
And they're not giving them back.
Giving him back. Perfect.
But they did ask us for 14 cases of Febreze because the smell is awful.
They would definitely put them in an isolation chamber.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Okay, has anybody heard about this?
Oh,
Jim Bowles
no.
is saying that J.D. Vance was taken to surgery after the vote today.
Well, let's Google that.
What, did he have to get that stick removed from his ass? I mean, sorry, y'all. I'm in a mood.
Sinus surgery. Well, maybe that's what you're picking up on, Sherry. You're having such a problem with your sinuses.
Vice President Vance undergoes minor surgery, but that's from
Surgery.
Fox News. Yahoo also. All these guys are going to downplay it. Oh no, I know what it's for. He had to get his brain implant adjusted before he goes into the White House, and they just
He
go
had to
right.
clear out all the
They just go right out.
all
It's
the
a little
powdered
bit
sugar out of his nostrils.
Yeah, well, it's a little bit like a lobotomy. They just go straight up here and they wiggle around a little bit, boom, and there it's in. That's it. That's what they had to do.
Rechipped. Artist list says he's rechipped.
Yes, yes, he was rechipped.
Well, there's probably an expiration on that one too, so it'll happen again.
Wow.
Oh, the eyeliner too. Yeah, the eyeliner. Is he having that surgically removed?
That's what I was thinking. That was my first thought. That would be a hell of a surgery, right? If it's tattooed on. I don't think it's tattooed on though.
I think he lovingly puts it on himself every day because it makes him feel beautiful.
Well, JD,
I mean, I get up and put my makeup on every day, even when I'm not doing anything, just because it makes me feel better.
Yeah. It's nice. It's nice. Oh boy. Okay, what else do we got here? So, well, do we think what about a fake inauguration at Mar-a-Lago?
Well, that's where we thought it was in the first place.
But not on the 19th. Maybe like on the 10th or something. Oh wait, he has to be in court on the 10th. So maybe the day before. Yeah.
To be sentenced, yeah.
Yeah.
He has to go. The judge told him today, no, sir, you must be in court to receive your sentencing.
What do you want to make a bet he doesn't go?
Oh, please, 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 please. And then they could come pick him up and throw his ass in jail right then.
I wonder. This is a job for my pendulum.
There you go. I'm going to try my rods, see what they tell me. Let's see. Trump show up in court.
It's pretty non-committed here.
Trump show up to court in the 10th.
I think he might not. I think there's a chance he might not show. Okay, and
yeah,
then,
I'm getting that too.
Yeah, I think there's a good chance he might not show. So the 10th is a Friday. So maybe he would schedule his inauguration for maybe the 13th, that following Monday at Mar-a-Lago. Trump have an inauguration at Mar-a-Lago in January?
What are we asking here? Will the fake inauguration be at Mar-a-Lago on?
I'm getting a yes.
the 13th.
And I'm getting that it's not going to be very big.
Yeah.
Just friends and
What
family.
do you get? What do you get on your pendulums and whatever the hell those things are that Sherry's working with about a postponement? Will there be?
Dowsing rods. Yeah, my dowsing. I got a yes on that last question.
Okay.
What did
So
you ask for, Leo?
Will there be a postponement for January's 20th inauguration? Will that be
Will inauguration be postponed? Oh, I'm getting a yes. Clear. The inauguration be
I don't know.
clear.
You're getting a I don't know, and Sherry's getting a yes.
Yeah, I'm going to try my other hand.
Let me shake these up. Okay, guys, come on, behave yourselves.
Inauguration on August.
All right.
Behave yourself.
I'm getting a yes, but it's not. Oh, now it's getting stronger. Yeah. And I think that's why. Oh, now it's getting very strong. I think that's why having the inauguration in Mar-a-Lago was kind of weak.
Yeah, mine's like shoot. There goes the other one. They're all yes.
So
they're going to postpone it. Yeah.
Not that I believe in either one of these kind of things to make predictions by.
The inauguration be postponed. Will the inauguration be postponed?
And I get that they're going to certify him on the 6th.
Pendulum is yes.
So they're going to certify him on the 6th, but they're not going to inaugurate him on the 20th. Damn.
That's what
my pendulum's agreeing with you.
That's what I'm getting.
Yeah.
It's definitely, that's going to go through on the 6th, and that's really not a big deal. And not to be, again, I think it's all part of the plan to keep him in there, to think that things are going smoothly when they're not. And then when there's one hiccup, and the hiccup on, he may end up getting inaugurated, but I think it could go right up to the day, and all of a sudden it's just like something's come up, and until we get it straightened out, we cannot do the inauguration.
I think they're going to claim, not Trump's camp, but the normal camp. I think they may claim that there has been a health event and he's unable to go through with the inauguration. I think that will be the initial claim until they can reveal what's really going on. And that's, I think, one way that they can postpone it without raising so many eyebrows that it's just like, what the F is going on?
Yeah, that's a very good possibility.
I'll try my pendulum.
And this Lee person says Sterling said he would be decertified. Yeah, and Sterling is he's a pretty amazing psychic.
Yeah, he is.
And the stuff that he has said about this thing, I know there's been times that he hasn't been correct either, but
wow,
he is one that definitely understands the secrets, the confidentiality. I think he knows a lot about what's going on with that, and he's being very careful.
Yes.
Not to expose it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so will they decertify Trump on the 6th?
What was the question?
Will he decertify Trump on the 6th?
Will they decertify Trump on the 6th?
I got barely any movement at all.
Will they decertify Trump on
No.
January 6th?
So it's some other day.
Yeah, so I think
mine's going in the circle, so that's telling me that it's not set.
Right. That's
okay. So it's still up in the air, but I think he will be certified. I think it's
he'll be certified on the 6th, but he could very well be decertified on the I don't know.
Exactly. Later on.
13th. Yeah.
On the 10th when he gets sentenced.
Well, double duty for that judge. I don't
See,
think
you
so.
got to
Yeah.
keep in mind that none of this is on the kind of timeline we want it to be. First of all,
No.
timelines for psychics are crazy in the first place.
Oh,
But
the timelines have been blown out of the sky with all of this mess.
yeah,
And also we are so wrapped up into our schedules and timeline, and it's the weekend and it's the weekday and it's a week evening, and I work 9 to 5 and I work 10 to 6, and we're so structured that, well, my kids go to school from 7 to 3, and like we're so like it's all these things, it's got to fit in these slots or we can't do it, our brains will explode, and this is not going to fit into that. I mean,
right. Even if he gets inaugurated, my thought was, for the most, and was the reason I was so scared about it, is that he gets inaugurated and we can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
That's not true. That is not true. So we'll just. I'm thinking that it's going to be pushed out.
I think
but
so
if it
too.
doesn't work out that way, something's going to work out. So this is just too big a deal, but maybe it does take more time. Maybe it does take more evidence. Maybe it does take more the other countries all coming together and saying, this is what happened here. And now we're seeing a pattern with the different, like with Russia, that the interference maybe goes out to all of these countries. So it might be a bigger deal that way. But no,
I think you're right. I think that, but I still insist, if the United States is the last girl to the party, all these other countries are much more agile. They're much more able to, their courts work faster, they change laws faster in their, in their governments. They're just a lot more agile than we are at making these kinds of decisions and changes and taking actions. I mean, look at Romania. Romania has been saying for a month that or more that they're throwing out the election and doing something else. Georgia, they're trying to overturn their government. But think of this, that right now what we're in is just the beginning of these information coming out that's indicating that there is going to be a change about the election, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you have a big snowstorm, like, have you ever been in a big snowstorm where you can't even leave your house? Or, I mean, I don't want to say a natural disaster, because when those things happen, like a hurricane or something, sometimes you're stuck somewhere and it's just horrible because you don't have all your stuff. But in a snowstorm, usually you're just stuck in your house, right? Time has no meaning. You're not going to work. You can't get out of the house. You probably can't get out of the driveway. So you're not going anywhere. It's going to be that kind of feeling when this starts to play out. Then we will all understand the timing and why the timing is just so like fog, like a cloud, like smoke, like you're not going to be able to put your hands around it. It's going to be like we're stuck in a snowstorm and we can't go anywhere. We're just kind of like watching it play out, and time is kind of meaningless at that point.
I like what Cynthia said over here. She says, I picked a bad time to get off drugs.
Yeah, right there with you.
No kidding.
Hey, my Cajun cuz.
That is so true. That is so true. But and that analogy with the snowstorm too is that, trying to nail down all of these little details, it's so important to you right now. For all of you out there watching this, you're very worried about, but how are they going to do it? It doesn't make sense. It's not logical. But the laws don't say this, but they have to do that. They have to go through the inauguration. They have to do the certification. They have to have a speaker. They have to do this. They have to do that. When in reality, we don't. We choose to do that a lot, but it's not going to matter. These little details about how it all comes together in the long run just don't matter. They just don't matter.
Wow. Somebody just put it in the chat there, and so I went to check the mighty Google, and Representative Virginia Fox from North Carolina fell down the marble stairs at Congress this afternoon.
Oh,
Now, did she fall or did she get pushed?
Did she die?
I don't think so. It just
she just had an accident.
says that she fell.
Like Ivana.
Yeah, really. Nora Garcia says, I'm taking a full social media break if Trump is sworn in.
Good.
You know, taking a break from this is probably a good idea, because if he does get sworn in, we know not, then we're back waiting. It's just this constant waiting game, because we know now for sure that somebody's looking into some big time election interference. And if they can't get it all together and make a difference by January 20th, so be it. I mean, that would be the way it is, but there's still going to be a lot of people that are just going to give up on this whole thing and say, okay, fine, Trump's in. He's going to screw us over. You know, if I had the money, I'd move to Canada, you know, that kind of stuff. And I don't believe in anything the psychics are saying. Well, you know, we are just psychics, but
I have literally had visions of Mexico putting up
what we're
their
telling
own
you
border
is what
defenses.
we are receiving, and why we receive those messages that may not sound like they're correct. I just know that I am telling you what I receive from my guides. My guides do not lie to me. Do they have an ulterior motive? Maybe in this case, maybe they do. I don't know. But and I'm talking about messages that I have received long before this was before Kamala Harris had even been a presidential candidate. You know, and they had told me even then, Kamala Harris is going to be a great president. So, and I keep bringing this up, you know, it's the same thing. And I'm thinking, I don't know. Are they talking about now? Are they talking about 4 years from now? They tell me, no, we're talking about now.
Yeah.
And they keep telling me not to worry about it. And don't, and all these things that are supposed to fall into place with certifications and inaugurations and stuff. They said it's just a ceremony. Don't get so worked up about it.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
It's very frustrating because, you know, we're all
We want answers now. I mean, we've been dealing
I
with
mean,
this forever. But I just want people to know, yeah, when, you know, if you feel like you need a break, you should take a break.
Yeah.
You know,
And
for Cynthia, can you get the drugs back?
is it too late? Did the drug dealer leave town, or can you know?
I mean, I don't know what's worse, withdrawal or going through inauguration with Trump. I mean, you know, it might be better just to get back on the drugs.
Might be. It occurs to me, though, you know, that through the last couple of years, you know, by and large, the psychics have been pretty spot on about a lot of things, right?
yeah.
Some have been wrong here and there. And did it rock your world? Did it change things appreciably? No. And I think since maybe last July or so, we have been wrong about more things than usual because of timeline changing and things like that. Did it change your world appreciably? No. And did it matter that, you know, the Republican convention, that they didn't have fights break out on the floor? No, but we predicted that it would. Did the predictions about the Democratic convention come true? No, they wildly exceeded our expectations for how good it would be. So knowing the exact things of how it's going to happen doesn't, in this case, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. And to be more at peace with things, I think, is just to ask for the highest and most benevolent outcome for everyone.
Right.
Yeah.
Highest good of all, you know, and also to continually send love and light to those you find discomfort. And that means MAGA and T-Rump and Elon Musk, all of those bastards.
Send those bastards a lot of love.
Send them love and light. It, especially for narcissists. I was married to a big time narcissist. It irritates the hell out of them. It makes them nervous. It makes them angry. It makes them agitated. You are doing your job, honey, if you send them love and light and all those things happen. And it also, by sending love and light, you raise your own vibration.
Mm-hmm.
Cynthia just said, you know, she's the one that gave up drugs recently.
Yeah,
She said she also gave up wine too.
Oh, Cynthia, come to my house. I'll help you out.
You know, Cynthia, really, Jesus says, go ahead, get some wine.
Get that wine. Get that
Knock
wine.
one back, honey. You know he's gonna. No problem.
That's right. No judgment here. You go right ahead. Whatever you need to do.
But yeah, once again, I mean, we're just telling people stuff that we are receiving from our guides, whether it's through tarot cards or just mediumship, which is where I'm at. And I mean, you know, and we don't really know. I mean, I'm just going by what the guides have told me. I've been dealing with my guides for decades. They have never ever steered me wrong, but they have told me certain things that when it finally came true, it was totally different than how
Libby's in the
thought it
chat.
would be.
Oh, she is. Oh, that's great.
Hi,
Libby,
Libby.
we've been talking about you all night. We're talking about
Yeah, I
you.
know her ears must have been burning.
Yeah, amazing reading this morning. It was just amazing. And I'm sure you saw Rosie's reading as well. Both of Rosie's reading, I cried. I cried when she started talking about Kamala. I cried. And I even re-listened to it.
Who's Rosie?
Rosie Insights, Rosie Psychic Investigator.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
I went
God.
blank. I was like,
She has been so spot on. So yeah, I listened to it a second time on my way to work. I cried the second time too. She spontaneously started channeling with her guides and was just like this. Usually with Rosie, it gets sometime a little hard to listen to her because she's very ADD. Right. So she'll start a sentence and stop. She'll start another sentence and stop. And she'll start a sentence and she won't ever finish anything. But today, when she was channeling, I swear to God, it was 45 minutes of nonstop, complete sentences. And I was loving every minute of it. I was just loving it to death. It was great. It was really great.
And
Oh my God.
And what is up there right now? We can only share what our guides are telling and showing us, but it can take months, years to play out.
Mhm.
And until hindsight, we don't have the aha moment. Isn't that the
true.
truth? I mean,
So
I've had
true.
things that took actually 15 years.
Mhm.
It was, well, obviously by that time I'd pretty much forgot about it. But then when it does happen, you're like, oh shit, I thought that came up so long ago. But I'd forgotten about it.
Yeah.
But right now, it's not going to take 15 years, but it's, it might just, what comes up that seems so wrong and seems like it can't be, a lot of times all of a sudden there's this shift and then you're like, oh, now I get it. So I can see that kind of thing happening, especially since this is a worldwide problem right now.
Right. And don't forget that we are all learning lessons through this. Not only is the country learning lessons in this, but we individually are here at this time for our whole lifetime to learn lessons. So just because you don't like something, as soon as you start to feel that agitation, that discontent, that irritation, that's probably an opportunity for you to learn something, right? So, distract yourself with that while you're not on social media, while you're not watching the news, so that you can calm down and focus on what's really important, which is loving yourself and spreading love to the world and learning your lessons along the way. That's a great thing to do. That's a great thing to do. Oh my gosh, we've been on over an hour and a half, guys.
Yeah, it's time to move on.
I think we should call the game. So this has been great. Thank you for coming to my favorite game, PoliTarology. And I'm so glad that everybody's here in the chat. We had just what can I say it? A shit ton of people in the chat. That's really great.
For sure. We're at 9:56 right now.
Oh my God. I mean, and just great comments in the chat and just everything. Just
Well,
wonderful.
as usual, we couldn't do what
Yeah.
we do without the chatters, without
That's
their
right.
input. And
That's
there's so much more
Oh my
knowledge.
God, yes. The support they give us is
Oh,
just
yeah.
unbelievable.
And Connie B is reminding me of something that I had said during this week, that a lot of these things might not come out till after Jimmy Carter's funeral. And I feel that's because if they did, Washington wouldn't be safe for everybody to come to Jimmy Carter's funeral. So
No,
Connie B, thank you for that comment. And I
point.
think you're right. I think after, and that's January 9th. So after that, January 10th, Trump is in court. So probably sometime after the 11th, then we'll start getting some real things
And
happening.
we've
I'm
already,
just enjoying the fact that Trump's got his panties in a wad because all the flags are going to be
Yeah.
half staff, so it's like, because it's half staff on land and half mast on sea. So
yeah.
We've also talked about that the funeral of Jimmy Carter is a great opportunity for a lot of these Democrats to get together and have some discussions that they couldn't normally have.
Yes.
So I think that will be used that way. And I think that Jimmy Carter,
people from around the world, there are going to be people from around the globe that are going to show up for that.
Imagine
He
that.
was well loved and well respected by
People from the Middle
foreign
East.
leaders everywhere. Yeah.
Middle East peace talks. That was Jimmy Carter. So,
It sure was. That's what got Egypt and Israel
that's right. It's a
bosom buddy. I remember when that happened. So.
Very magical. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. I know we just went we went to Egypt and back on all these things. This is really a great.
You never know with us, man. It's always a fun ride.
I'm gonna go have some wine.
God, yeah, I'm with Cynthia.
That sounds good. I think I might go have a glass.
And I think I might have some drugs hidden somewhere. I think a glass of wine and a little whatever I got laying around that isn't expired.
No, I already took my drugs, but now I'm thinking I might want some wine.
Yep, there we're going. All right, you guys, I'm going to play the outro, and God bless you all.
Bye.
Until next time. Bye-bye.